Have you heard of Discord?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm completely sorry, Kasia.
I've always wanted to try to do this. Would you be interested in joining the Discord server where you can actually engage with people who listen to this conversation? If you message me with that email address, I'll send you the link to this Discord server, and then you can engage with people. So your name is Zach, so people that might hear this conversation can talk with you about it. Hi. Oh, hey, how are you? Were you waiting to do an interview? You are? Okay. What would you like to do? You want to keep talking, or I've got some people that probably would allow me to record them.
Okay. Well,
why don't we end it? We talked for 30 minutes.
Yeah, we did. Oh, wow.
It seemed like it. I don't know if it was that long. Let's see.
I don't think that would take 30 minutes.
This, I got 27 minutes right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to talk on camera?
I don't know who you are, so you may want to know more about what I'm doing before you decide.
Yeah.
I talked to you yesterday, right? But you were with somebody different, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. How are you? I'm Anthony.
Good. I'm Kasia. How are you?
Kasia, nice to meet you. I'm doing good.
You too.
Okay. Yeah. Can we wrap it up? Would that be okay with you?
Sure.
I'm out here all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
So between like 10 and 1 o'clock, let's talk some more.
All right.
Okay. That was really fun.
All right. It's all good.
All right. See you around. All right. We had like a 30-minute conversation, so I'm ready to move on to somebody else. But basically, I engage with people about their views by asking questions to see how you can be so sure that it's true.
Okay.
And we pick a claim that you act out on. Did we talk about knocking on wood?
Yeah, we talked about knocking on wood.
Yes. So we explored this view that knocking on wood actually had the ability to change the outcome of things. And we explored that by me asking questions. And if you're interested, I would like to record it, if possible. And I've got a camera up there, and there's cameras, I got 3 cameras going. Are you okay doing a short talk on something like that? Yeah? Okay. What's your first name?
Kasia.
I'm sorry, I asked you that already, didn't I?
You did.
I'm sorry. I've been out in the heat for, I think, going on 4 hours now.
You must be hot.
It is. I am a little bit. How do I spell your first name?
Kasia.
Kasia. That's very nice. What was the conversation that prompted you to come here and talk to me?
I just basically explained to her what I did, and it was just there's a guy out here talking to people, just trying to get them to basically question or think more about the stuff that they're just taught to believe.
Yeah. That's a really good summary of what I'm doing. Okay, so which claim... Okay, do you want to be sort of a silent observer? Do you want to be my assistant?
I can assist. I can try.
Okay. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. What claim specifically are you planning to make here? What is something that you think is true, and you actually behave because you think that it's true? I can give some examples too if you'd like examples. Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe that I know some people who think Oho is real. Have you heard of this idea of Oho? Like if I compliment him on his backpack, but I don't actually touch it. So did I need to touch it? Okay. So then something bad will happen to his backpack because I envied it and didn't touch it. But anyway, I don't want to pick a belief that you don't think is true. Maybe you think that there's a higher power, and if I pray to this God, I'll do better on a test.
Yeah.
Or maybe you think that vaccines, there's no way I'm giving those to my kids.
No.
That causes autism.
Higher God.
We can talk about that. Okay. What is your claim specifically regards to a higher power? Do you think one exists? Do you think one is... What exactly are you saying about it?
I think God exists.
Okay. God. All right. When we are using this approach called street epistemology, we want to make sure that we fully understand what she means by certain words, and God is one of those words where we want to ask what she means by the word. Mm-hmm. So a good question might be something like, when you say God, what exactly are we talking about here? Is it a specific God?
Yes.
Okay. Does it have a name?
Jesus.
Okay. Now that we kind of have a good idea of what she thinks is true, it might be helpful to get a sense of how sure she is that it's true.
Okay.
I may have asked this to you when we were talking about knocking on wood, I'm not sure. But on a scale from 0 to 100, how sure are you that this God is real?
100.
Okay. 100% would be there's no question in my mind, there's no doubt. I can't be mistaken on it. I'm as confident as I am that you're standing in front of me right now, or maybe even more so.
Okay, maybe. 80.
Maybe 80 now? Okay. I appreciate your honesty. I'm really glad I asked that because sometimes I think people think they have an obligation to say they're more sure of something than they actually are. And this type of interaction goes really well when we're completely upfront with our views. Because the idea here is to see, am I justified in thinking that that's true? And if we're not being honest with our views, I suppose, it could interfere with our ability to critically examine them. Okay, what would be a good question to ask to explore her reasons for thinking that this is true?
I like my head. Okay. What made you believe? I don't think it's true.
What made you believe that this is true? That's good.
Yeah.
Because I've always been taught to believe in God, that He is.
Would you mind talking up just a little louder? I just want to make sure I get this.
Because I've always been taught that God is real and like He is who like we are here for, basically.
You've always been taught that He's real?
And I've like grew up learning and practicing like everything that has to do with God.
Okay. As you were growing up, a large part of that experience had to do with being taught that this God is real. Is that right? Okay. Do you see how I repeated it back to make sure that that's it? Okay. Can you think of a really good question that we can ask your friend here to gently push back a little bit on this reason?
To gently push back?
Yeah, what would be a good question to challenge her about her reason that I think you're giving for saying that it's true to 80% confidence is that you have always been taught that it's true.
So basically, I feel like I've been told like, okay, like when you go to church, the preacher's like telling you like a certain lesson or whatever to persuade you that God has acted in a certain way in someone's life. So with like all that, like growing up and learning like different reasons why, it basically like made me believe that that's what it is.
Growing up being taught that it's true and then hearing preachers talk about it some more is the reason why
And
you believe it?
Well, also because I've like experienced like actual situations where I felt
that
like
was going to be my pushback question. I was going to say like
you've also had experience
like personal experiences where I felt like God helped me through it or brought me here or something like that.
Here's my question with regards to your personal experience. Do you think that that personal experience is a reason for thinking that God is real because you've always been taught that He's real?
Yes.
Okay, so in other words, if you had a similar personal experience, but you hadn't been taught that this God was real, would you be looking at that personal experience as a good reason for thinking that the God was real?
So are you asking as if like I've never even heard, like no one's ever told me about
Yes.
God?
No one's ever told you about God, and then you had this experience.
Would I automatically think, oh, this is God?
Yeah.
No, because I would like it would be brand new to me. I wouldn't know anything of it.
Okay. Is it fair to say that the event that you experienced is currently one of the reasons why you're saying that the God is real? Because this has all been taught to you over the course of the last several years.
Yes.
Okay. If you hadn't been taught it and then you had the personal experience, you may not have looked at it as a good reason to think that a God was real. You might think of something else, perhaps.
I don't even know how to like respond. Can you reword that?
Yeah. I'm glad that you're asking for clarification. Do you want to take a crack at re-asking the question that I was asking?
I'll try to word it basically as like, if you had experienced this personal experience and not known of a God, what would you kind of like?
Like, what would I
this
blame
good
that
thing?
on?
What would you attribute it to?
Yeah, right.
Good question. Yeah, that's a really good way of forming it.
I don't really know. I probably wouldn't really just think much of it. Like I would just like, as of right now, since I've grown up praising God, it's like everything is for God. But if I never knew about anything having to do with God, then all my situations would just be life. Like just how it happens.
You wouldn't go the extra step to say that's a good reason for thinking that a God exists if you hadn't already been taught about the God. Is that correct, or am I off on that? Would you like me to repeat it? I think what you might be saying, and if this isn't it, correct me. The personal experiences that currently lead you to think that it's a God, or that you're justified in thinking that it's a God, may not be all that compelling if you hadn't been told about the God or taught about it at the start. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, because I feel like aside from being taught about God, like it's always like around. Like
It's in our culture?
yes, like if I personally wasn't like ever taught about God, like people would still be talking about God, like aside from what I'm being taught. So I would still look into it and research it and all that. So
Okay.
maybe I'm changing my answer to that question.
That's fine. I don't look at it as actually changing it or flip-flopping, but maybe bringing clarity to your view. So that's a good thing.
So yeah, I think I still would probably I would look for a reason, basically. Like I would reach out instead of.
You would look for a reason to what?
As to why whatever is happening.
Okay. If you hadn't been told about Jesus, taught about it,
then I would just turn to research.
and you had a personal experience, it might cause you to start researching what it was that actually happened.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. Here's my last question, and then you can ask me any question you want in return. Or if you do you think, is there a question that you'd like to ask? There's one that I'm dying to ask, but would you like to ask your friend? Are you okay if we proceed? Okay.
I can't think of anything.
Okay. That's fine. Sometimes it's hard to think of these questions on the fly. So here's my question. Let's envision that there's a young adult who is being encountered by somebody asking these same questions on a university campus in Bangalore, India. And this person is saying that they're roughly 80% confident that Vishnu is real. And when we start exploring the reasons why, she says that I was always taught that Vishnu is real. And I've actually had personal experiences that confirmed for me that that was Vishnu that is the reason for it. Do you think that that person's reasons for giving their 80% confidence is a good reason?
I don't feel like it makes it true to who's asking the question, but as far as personal clarity, I do think so.
You think that they're on good footing for giving those reasons?
I mean, okay, as far as, do you mean
So basically what you're saying is like a person's beliefs are tailored to their experiences. Like growing up in a completely different part of the world can change the experience on like what you believe. Like for instance, he was saying in India they believe in like a different God, but they have all the same reasons as us for believing in that God.
So so for me, it's like not only have I learned about God, but I've looked into everything and I read the Bible and stuff like that. So people in India, I'm sure, like when they have a certain belief, like it's not just specifically surrounded around this experience and this is what I've learned, but also like everything else, like research all that too. So I do think that them justifying their belief with those reasonings is valid. Yes.
So if we were to actually get in an airplane and fly to Bangalore, India, and meet that woman who's 80% confident that Vishnu is real because she was taught about it. And then when she has personal experiences, she thinks that it's Vishnu, a completely different God than yours, that those reasons alone are sufficient for her being 80% confident that that God exists.
Okay, are you asking, like, would she be able to prove to me that, like, would she make me believe?
No. I'm not asking if you'd find it convincing.
Okay.
I'm asking if she should.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think that no. I think that there should be more into it. There should be more validation towards why.
Okay. More so than the reasons that she's currently giving.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. You did phenomenally.
Thank you.
Seriously. I think it takes a lot of courage and bravery to have somebody that you don't know explore your beliefs like that and be open and upfront as you were doing that. So I'm very, very, very grateful for your time that you did that. And thank you for bringing your friend over. Would you like to ask me any questions about what I'm doing or about this topic? This is my card. I think I gave you one already.
You did, yeah.
You still have it?
Yep, and the magnet.
I ran out of magnets and stickers. Yeah, actually, I might have a sticker in there. But would you like one of these 3 pieces as a gift? Which one would you like? Thank you. Go for yellow. And since you came back for a second time, you get a piece too. Okay. Oh, you got a yellow one still.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I'll get,
Very nice. Okay. The idea here is if you want to come back for more, in between thinking about the questions that I've asked, let's completely get into it. Let's completely walk through this belief and continue to explore your reasons for your confidence that this is true. Okay? But yeah, at this point, if you want to ask me any questions.
Do you believe in God?
I don't. I don't think Vishnu is real. I don't think Allah is real. I don't think Jesus is real.
And why?
Because when I look at the reasons that a lot of people give for thinking that this is true, they don't seem sufficient to me. Because I could be taught something is true and have personal experiences that seem to be confirming what I'm being taught, what I've been taught, and be completely wrong.
But aside
You don't think
from,
it would give you more comfort knowing that like you have something to believe in and look forward to after death?
Yesterday, I think, is the anniversary of the day that my dad died. I think it was yesterday. It's horrible that I don't know, but I got the reminder on my phone. And it would really give me a lot of comfort to think that he's in heaven maybe, or he's going on to some other life, and that I'll see him again and we can play baseball together. But I don't have good reason for thinking that that's the case. So it might be a bitter pill for me to swallow to say, as much as I would like to think that that's true, I don't have a good reason for thinking that. So it's more important for me to be honest about my reasons for validating my confidence than the comfort I might get for just accepting a claim because I get benefit from it. Yeah.
So, from the start, you never believed in God.
Like even as a kid.
It's funny. I was raised and taught that God exists.
Okay, so what changed is this what changed your mind, or?
Questioning changed my mind. Now, it didn't take a guy with a camera and a whiteboard asking me questions. For some reason, at a young age, I was the one that did the questioning. I was questioning myself. I was questioning the teachers. I was questioning the priests and the nuns. And none of the reasons were sufficient at a young age, like at 8 or 9. So maybe when I was 5, if you asked me if I believed in God, I'd probably say yes. But if you asked me when I was 10, I'd probably say yes, but I was lying. Because I understood how important it was to the people around me that I believed it. So I was a really skeptical, questioning kind of kid from a young age.
So when you hear about like Jesus's disciples and stuff, because I'm sure you know like the stories.
Oh yeah.
So do you like disagree with everything, or do you
do you think the Bible is pure fabrication?
Ooh, I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, I think there are useful things in the Bible. Do you mind if would you mind holding my board while I put new batteries in my devices? Because they were about to die when you walked up. So I'd hate for them to end just now. Do I think it's a fabrication? I mean, I'm not like a conspiracy theorist to say like this is something that people created to control the population or anything. I think it's conceivable that people believed that stuff. a lot of people thought that there was a guy and he was healing people and he rose from the dead, and we got to jot this down. I think I'm willing to accept that the claim that people believed it, but it's a different statement than that it's true. But here, let me just tell you. Oh, you got it? Thank you. Please don't try to look at this as, what can I do to convince that poor man that he's wrong? I'd urge you not to do that. I would urge you to try to look at this as,
how can I build my foundation on my beliefs?
yes, how can I demonstrate to him that I've used a reliable method and good reasons for getting to my conclusion?
So what do you suggest as finding good reasoning?
For anything that
That's a good question. What do I suggest that would be a good thing to use to get to a conclusion?
Yeah, like where do I look into, or what kind of research do you suggest?
What kind of research do I suggest?
Or like anything. Like, what do you suggest, period?
Like on any belief that you have, what's a good way to kind of just like
I'll take that. Thank you.
build a foundation around it?
What's a good way to build a foundation on any belief?
Right.
Well, that's a good question. Let me stick this guy back up. You guys are asking good questions. I like that. Okay. And okay, got that going. And I need to switch this one up too. So when I hear somebody who makes a claim, whether it's, thank you for holding that, whether it's that if I knock on wood, I can successfully navigate the stairs, or I had this feeling and I'm sure that it's God, I would look for ways to be able to validate it and verify it and test it.
But as far as...
before accepting it or before building anything on top of it. Don't you do the same thing with other beliefs?
Well, I feel like there's not really one true way to test God. It's just
like
there's no way to test it?
Like, not canceling it out, but to my knowledge, like I wouldn't know, like I don't know how I would be able to like actually test to where I would know for a fact that God is real. Besides from all the research and everything else that I've already said. As far as like, if you're taught like a math problem, you can easily figure out if that is like the proper way to solve it. You can plug in the numbers and all that.
If we saw an algorithm or an equation, we can perform a test on it to determine what the result is, I suppose. And I think what you're saying is that it's not apparent at this point in your life how we can actually go about testing your conclusion that God is real.
Yeah.
And yet,
even with history, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
And yet you're 80% sure that it's factually true. Why would anyone be 80% sure that something is true and they admit that they can't test to see that it is?
It's kind of like...
Can we let her think about that?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 80% sure because of... basically, like, it all just makes sense to me. So, me personally, I necessarily don't need God to come stand in front of me for me to feel like he's real. I feel like everything that I've been told and I've researched, experienced, gone through and all that, like, that is enough proof for me to believe like, God is real.
It sounds like what you're saying is that you're content with not having the ability to test whether God exists or not.
I am very content.
You're okay believing something that you can't test to be sure is true.
In this case, yeah.
Are you content to believe in things besides the God claim? Will you just believe anything?
No.
Why are you making an exception for this claim?
Because I just feel like I feel like I know that he is real. Like everything that I've been through could like vouch for all that.
If that Hindu in India told us the same thing, would you find it compelling? Would you find it
I mean,
Would you find it noble to believe in something that we can't test?
no, because like with religion and you believing in a certain higher power, I feel like it's all personal. Like everyone knows that you're not gonna see this God walking around, or you're not like I can't see him or talk to him face to face. But as far as you going to your church or your whatever, it's like you learning and believing more and more.
Okay. You've been very kind and patient sitting off to the side here. Well, I'm tempted to keep asking you questions. However, one thing that I found by doing this is that sometimes I can ask so many questions that it overwhelms the person. And I don't want to do that. I think it might actually be beneficial if we ended at this point. And then you can think about the answers that you've given. And I can think of better questions to perhaps ask you next time around.
Okay.
And then you can come back up and we can keep exploring this idea of believing something even though we may not have a good justification for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Fun. Thanks for bringing you by. What did you think about the talk? Did you regret that he brought you by, or no? Okay. Good.
I was actually really excited too.
Really? Did you watch any of my videos before talking to me?
No, I didn't.
Did you watch any of my videos? No? Okay.
Oh, after we talked. Yeah, not before.
That's what I meant.
But I Googled you and everything.
How many videos did you watch?
Just one.
Do you remember what the topic was?
I do not.
Okay. You don't remember the topic?
No, I just kind of like, was reading about you, just clicked on the video, watched a little bit, got off.
Okay. See the benefit of asking questions? I have a better understanding of how much of my content he's actually familiar with. If you search for Street Epistemology and then my name Anthony on YouTube, you can see examples of me using this technique where I'm asking questions and challenging people and that type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else? No more questions for me? Okay.
Thank you.
It was really my pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. And I do hope that you come back for more discussions.
I will.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, Kasia. Bye-bye.
Approximately 20 minutes later.
Yeah. It's funny because and I'm going to interrupt you, but my two interlocutors who I just interviewed are now sitting. You know that picture that I uploaded with the microphone and the table. They're now sitting 15 feet away from it at the top of the steps, and I wonder what they're discussing right now. It makes me wonder if they're actually a part of this group. Wow. So they participated in that conversation and came right over here to sit next to a table and all this other chaos. It's funny, I'm actually noticing lots of people who I've talked to before.